I did learn something new the other day.
What's that?
Apparently not all sesame seeds on buns are created equal.
What?
Apparently McDonald's uses faux sesame seeds on their buns. Burger King does not.
So what's your favorite out of those two, Burger King or McDonald's?
I never got that far. I was just blown away at the fact that one uses faux sesame seeds and one doesn't. I mean, who knew there was a market for that?
I didn't even know there were faux sesame seeds.
Same here. But literally, kid told me he found out because he's allergic. And one of them he had to get an EpiPen shot for and one he doesn't.
You know what I found out this week?
The earth is round.
Found out you're new to bourbon. Everyone, my name is John Edwards, and with me as always is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. And listen, I'm right in my wheelhouse giving Zeke Baker one-liners.
Oh man, I'm worried for like the next 2 to 3 months because you just shot your wad. I mean, that's it.
No.
John, we all know the expected percentage of John one-liners that are factored into this show. You're tipping the scale way hard right now.
I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I'm going to let you know that our show is brought to you by Elijah Craig, the father of bourbon. Elijah Craig didn't join the bourbon movement, Zeke. He started it, just like you start movements every single day when you post on Instagram. If you're looking for a great Father's Day gift, go ahead and join the movement yourselves and reach for a bottle of award-winning Elijah Craig small batch bourbon. They won tons of awards from the San Francisco World Spirits Competition to Whiskey Advocate Awards. Give your dad that warm spice and subtle smoke flavor of Elijah Craig small batch. There is greatness within. And Zeke, I know you are not a big drink maker. You do a lot of things neat. This Father's Day, do one thing for me. Use that spice and smoke and try your hand at making an old-fashioned. All it takes is a little bit of Elijah Craig small batch bourbon. Put a little bit of simple syrup in there. And notice how I said syrup for you. I didn't say syrup.
Hey, you're coming around finally. Baby steps.
And then a little bit of dash of bitters for A, your personality, and B, spice in that old-fashioned. And we can call it like a salty Zeke. That's kind of a version of an old-fashioned. It's salty Zeke because it's got bitters.
I like how you tried to differentiate bitter and the spice in my personality.
Yeah, you were like a sweet and sour patch kid.
Although I will say, to tap an old memory thinking back, my great uncle, because they didn't have a granddad, every family function, Christmas, Father's Day, etc., Pops always gave me a bottle to hand off to him. And it was usually on the sly. I just always remember he'd always just look at me and have this, oh, buddy, you didn't have to do that, but I sure am happy you did.
And imagine how much happier he would have been if you slid him on Elijah Craig. So this Father's Day, do what Zeke should have done for his great uncle. Give your dad an Elijah Craig bourbon. Elijah Craig, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, Bardstown, Kentucky, 47% alcohol by volume. Think wisely, drink wisely. And I should mention, go to ElijahCraig.com for a bunch of recipes, also fun stuff. And we will have Max Shapira and Kate Latz, the people running Heaven Hill, the Friday before Father's Day, and we're going to talk about what it's like working with family. And, I feel like Zeke is the brother I never wanted, so we were in a great position to have that conversation with Kate and Max and talk about what it's like to work with family.
Yeah, I couldn't work with you. I think that's already been established.
We work together every week.
I meant in any more capacity than we already do. I'd be like, Edward, shut the hell up. Let's get some work done.
We do get work done.
I meant if we had paying jobs together.
I know. I wish this paid more. We get just enough to pay for the hosting and all the other crap. But imagine if we actually got paid. At
some point, them hair people are going to call, and they're going to want you in one of those ads of not only a spokesman, I'm also a client.
You think I could be like a Chia?
I mean, if this were back in the day and we rolled the clock back 10 plus years, college era shit, I caught you on a bar night and, you were kind of downtrodden and a little sleepy, I could see myself painting a chia pet on your head.
If you got me 10 years ago, I would have still had hair.
I mean, I wouldn't have done it.
Well, tonight we are drinking, funny enough, Elijah Craig small batch barrel proof. This is 136.6 proof. It is 12 years old, 68.3% ABV. This is the A120 batch. It is 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. Now, the good folks over at Elijah Craig and Heaven Hill sent this our way, but by no means is this having any effect on what we give it for a review. We told them you can send it to us, but we are going to be open and honest when it comes to the whiskey. That being said, Zeke, what do you think about this one?
My first thought before any tasting notes is just very simply, where is this stuff going in Middle Tennessee? Not to divert down a path too far, but...
You know, I don't want to spill the beans, but when we interview Max and Kate, you know, the first thing Max says to us, well, what'd they send you over for Elijah Craig? Sorry they didn't send you over any 18. And I was like, Max, we haven't seen 18 on the shelves here in about 6 years. This Elijah Craig barrel proof is the same way. Now, if I go to Texas, I see it everywhere. There are certain states that you could go and you will absolutely 100% see an Elijah Craig barrel proof on the shelf. Tennessee is not one of those states.
No, I mean, thank goodness for CNS. I mean, otherwise, even the retailers we're friends with, I don't think they're getting a ton of these. They hadn't messaged me or I think you like, hey, we got some of these in, swing by the store.
No, and we're not ballers enough to get those messages anyway. Like we're like, we got a store pick for you, but this stuff stays hidden.
But that being said, if you find this on the reg, you're doing very well. Nose-wise, just immediately hit with rich sugars and a warmth that just seems like candy being made is what I put down there. Kind of like, just seeing it come off the assembly line, so to speak, I guess. As I kind of dabbled back around with it, the second time I really went to a place of candied pecans in bourbon. It came to me, I've had peanuts in Coke, peanuts in bourbon and Coke. So that was kind of what got the gears spinning. But this was literally just candied pecans in bourbon. And then the third time around, I even picked up a little fig from somewhere.
Pecans and peanuts are two different nuts, right?
I said that's what got the gears spinning because I've drank products similar before. So you
didn't know. I just wanted to make sure you knew they were two different nuts.
The mind and the palate are, referencing piecing multiple flavors together in a similar fashion. If you listen, you'll pick these things up for me one day and you're going to learn, bud.
I did listen. That's why I still had that question. I was like, that these are two different things, right?
I can hear Jimmy.
All right. Wow. The wind is crying Mary.
Palate-wise, again, this really just started off really rich for me. I hate sounding redundant, but it's just the first thing that came to mind. It seemed like a brownie with little like dark chocolate specks kind of, laden through it. There was some oak and dry to the back, but kind of circling back to that brownie with the dark chocolate specks. To me, it came off as more of a bittersweet than it did drying or parching or anything along those lines.
So you ready to hear what I thought?
You tell us, buds.
So there's an overarching thing I will say at the end, but to start things off, I get a heat and cherry and then just everything kind of in the nose and taste. It's like a s'more with a cherry. And then just super sweet. Like there's a sweetness to this and big hug on the finish. I know I'm jumping around, but it's crazy. Like the biggest thing I can tell you about this, it is an incredibly balanced roller coaster ride that takes you anywhere and everywhere. And it's balanced in that all of the different parts are amplified at different times. Like at one point, the nose is going to go crazy, spike up and then come down, and then the taste is going to spike up, and it's just a lot of everything. Everything in this pour is like at 11. I really enjoy it. It's just a whole lot to process in one time because the flavor is going to take you everywhere. You get that sweet heat with just a touch of oak and that campfire like wood. There's just so much going on in this pour. It's hard to even process it all to be able to write it down. It's a sweet, toasty heat throughout that I enjoyed very much.
You had a bit of a ramble there, but at least a fair amount of that I'll conclude with. I think in a Cliff Notes version of the ramble, I would just simply say, this is big boy bourbon. As much as some labels out of Texas like to claim that they're big boy bourbon with big boy flavors and bite and whatever else, good old home Kentucky is ringing pretty strong right now.
Yeah, and I know I rambled a little bit, but it's almost like that running thing that came from my head while I was drinking it. And it was like, oh crap, there's so much here. And it's just big and bold and frankly freaking good. It was just really hard to nail down those specific aspects you wanted to get to.
You got attacked from all angles, son.
You really had to, but it was like, all right, I mean, I'm tipping my hat here. This is $65. If you don't buy this at $65, I really think you're missing out, especially in Nashville. I mean, because we can't find this on the shelf, if I'm finding this on the shelf here, I'm buying it in a heartbeat. It is just big and bold, and each pour is going to be different. Each sip is going to be different. It is going to be a hell of an experience, and that's why I said it's a roller coaster. Just like buckle yourself in, go down for the ride, and you know it's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah. Hands down for sure. And, we may have to finally tinker a little more, probe the group a little bit, see who all's holding, what in the ECBP space. Maybe try and set up a big-ish blind tasting to a degree. I think we all, nostalgia-wise, like to think those squats are the best. But, I mean, there's been some ringers in the new bottles, and there's only one way to really find out, obviously.
I know, and we love tasting things blind. I just would say there were some that we thought were weaker than other ones. For some reason, it was like the tail end of last year, the B and C of last year, I think were better than the A. They've just continued it through this year. I mean, next week we are going to have the B, and then we will compare the B to the A. I also would love to even throw the C of last year in there, Zeke, if I can get you some before we record. But there's a lot of good stuff going on there at Elijah Craig, especially with this barrel proof.
It's 100% legit. I won't knock that in any way.
Stay tuned because we are going to play around. I think this one, it's a buy for you or no?
Oh, easily. I mean, I would just love to see one of these in the store at this point. Shit.
I know. So Zeke and I are going to fly down to Texas for the day just so we could see some Elijah Craig barrel proof at a Specs. I will just say this is a buy for me in a heartbeat. And also, if anybody has a line on it, I might need some more. Go ahead. You can also find this at caskcartel.com. So that might be where I go to get it. If you go to caskcartel.com, you can get liquor shipped directly to your door. They are changing the industry standard as to how you get your alcohol, and it is totally a convenience play. Obviously, some of the stuff is going to cost a little bit more at Cask Cartel. That's more of the allocated stuff, your daily drinkers. You should be able to find on Cask Cartel, whether it is whiskey, scotch, bourbon, Amaro, gin, yak, rum. If I don't say rum, people get very upset. Go to caskcartel.com, get it shipped directly to your door. Also, go to Instagram.com, find at Cask Cartel. They're always doing awesome giveaways for their followers, and you never know when they're going to send you a very, very, very good pour. Today's show is also sponsored by the good folks over at premiumbarproducts.com. They provide all of the glassware for Dad's Drinking Bourbon. So every Glencairn we're drinking from, they sent to us. So thank you so much, Janie, Carson, Vicky, all of the folks over in Montana at Premium Bar Products. You are great people and you have great products. And I love how this stuff doesn't come off as much as you want to wash it. You guys really have it laser etched in there. It is good stuff. So whether or not you want the neat glass, the Tua glass, the distiller's tasting glass, a Glen, a wee Glen, they have it. They are happy to engrave it for you. If you are a bourbon group or a distillery and you have a bigger order, reach out to me and I will get you in touch with them. They're great people at premiumbarproducts.com. Also want to let you know to find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Listen to us wherever you download your podcasts. I'm pretty sure you already have because you're listening to us right now. Leave us an open and honest review like we leave open and honest reviews about the whiskey we drink. Zeke, thank you to Elijah Craig for sending this our way. Had no effect on the fact that we loved it. We were going to love it whether or not they sent it to us or whether or not we bought it or whether or not we scrounged a 2-ounce sample of it. It was just some good stuff. Where else can the folks find us, my friend?
Music City, USA.
Cheers.
Ciao.